Hello friends, welcome to my channel IT Career. So today what we are going to learn? So today we are going to learn about instance group. So what are instance group, right? So from the name itself, it implies that an instance and a group. Okay. So what is instance? Instance is nothing but your virtual machine, running virtual machine, right? I mentioned it, running virtual machine, and group is group of virtual machine. All right. So whenever you have a virtual machine, right, and suppose VM1, VM2, VM3, so whenever the collection of group of virtual machine are called instance group. Okay, so this is called instance group. Okay, group. So all these instances are associated with this group. Suppose the name of this instance group is web service. Okay, and what you need, what else you need? You need where you need to create it, zone or region. Okay, so you specify which zone you want to create, and then what else you need? You need to have a template. Okay, so why template? So let us see the definition of instance group. So instance group in Google Cloud Platform are collection of identical virtual machine instances. Remember the collection of identical. So just note the words identical. The virtual machines are identical and collections of that, right, that are managed together in a single unit. All right, so these are managed in a single unit, like here. Okay, instance group can be used to create, manage, scale group of instances that are used for a specific purpose or workload. And there are two types of instance group. So why you need instance group? Where your virtual machines are perfectly running individually, right? So why you need that? So there are some purposes. What are the things you need? We are going to write it in few seconds. So why you need virtual machine in a group? So first advantage is so if you want to have a load balancing. Okay, so suppose you have hundreds of virtual machine and your server, for example of, okay, I'm taking an example of Amazon web server, right? So whenever millions of users are accessing the website, right, so it is connecting to the virtual machines, right? I mean, they may connect to other than virtual machine, like, Kubernetes engine, or any Docker engine, right? But I'm just assuming they have a virtual machine. So now they want to load balance between the server, this or this, right? So you can, that time, for load balancing purpose, you use the instance group. So in the load balancing, you specify the instance group, and in this instance group all the instances are specified, right? They are associated. So this is one of the advantage. That's why you use instance group. So another thing is what? So another thing is maybe for auto scaling. So what is auto scaling? So for example, you have three virtual machine, right? You have three virtual machine, and the average CPU utilization. So CPU utilization of average of out of three, if you set the target, so I'll write it here. Target CPU utilization, suppose you set as 75%. So what it means, that whenever the load of these VM1, VM2, VM3, the average load of the CPU load of the three virtual machine is 75%, then scale me to another virtual machine 4. Okay, and that also you specify how many virtual machine you want to create for VM 5, VM6, like that. So you can have you can specify in an instance group one more property, like minimum number of virtual machine, okay, minimum VMs. So suppose you set 2, and maximum VMs you set suppose 100, okay. So in that case till 100 it will extend, and okay, and then this is called scale in and scale out, right, scaling in. So this will be increased, okay. So now once the fourth one is added into the instance group, suppose this is not there right now, that time the average CPU utilization of 4 virtual machine will be will be taken, and if it is still it is 75%, then that fifth one will be added, and it will go till the maximum number you set, okay, 100. And once the load is reduced, right, that time it is going to remove the added virtual machine, and it will bring back how many you have set as a minimum. All right, so this is one of the purpose of instance group. So all right, so let me get back to my PowerPoint and see what else we have. So there are two kinds of instance group, managed instance group and unmanaged instance group. Let me tell you in few minutes. Okay, so now advantages I was talking, right? So keeping the instances running, if a VM in the group stops, crashes, and deleted by an action other than the instance group management command. So in suppose, so what is this called? Keeping VM running, right? So it is called highly available, you can say, okay, keeping your VM running. So in any case, suppose you have 3 VMs running, right? Suppose in any case this VM stop working, okay, in that case what it will do, it will do a health check every 5 seconds, or whatever you see, decide every 5 seconds. The auto healer, there is something called auto healing, like auto scaling. So there is a called auto healer. The auto healer will check every 5 seconds each VM virtual machine is available or not. If the virtual machine is not available in consecutively 2 times, okay, that also you can select. That time, suppose this VM is not accessible, that time the auto healer is going to replace the VM. The VM name will be still VM3, but it would be created a new VM in place of that one. It will be recreated. So that is the beauty of instance group. Okay, you can leverage that. So if you deleted this, or if someone accidentally delete the virtual machine, in this case also you can the virtual machine will be added, okay, recreated. So next thing is application based auto healing. So suppose in some case also, there are application running in the virtual machine, right? So in this case, your application is not responding, and your auto healing, you said that auto healing property, you are accessing the application, and that time if the virtual machine is accessible, but your application is not accessible because you set the application in your auto healing property, in that case also it is going to replace. All right, so it is saying that's what it is saying here. You can also set up an application based health check which periodically verifies that your application respond to expected on each of the managed instance group instances. If an application is not responding on a VM, the auto healer automatically recreates the VM for you. Okay. And now regional coverage is, so if you have a regional coverage, there are 2 kinds. One is regional and zonal. If you have regional coverage, then the regional managed instance group let you spread app load across the multiple zones. So this application protects against zonal failure. If that happens, your app can continue serving traffic from instances running the remaining available zones of the same region. This is pretty simple, right? And another advantage is scalability. I already mentioned your app, when your app require additional compute resources, auto scaled managed instance groups can automatically grow the number of instances group to meet demand. If the demand drops, auto scaled managed instance group can be automatically shrink to reduce the cost. So it will be reduced, right? I mentioned it already. It will reduce, it will increase, and it will decrease also. Scaling. And automated upgrade is the managed instance group automatic updater lets you safely deploy version of the software to instances in your MIGs. So suppose if you want to deploy an application, as patching, so you apply here, and then you push it, it will push to your all the virtual machines. Okay. And you also can it and also support flexible range of rollout scenarios such as rolling updates and canary updates. I like canary update means you just push the stage wise the update, and check whether you can push it here and check it whether everything is run perfectly or not. You can, and then everything good, then it is like an upgrade is going to be piecemeal. Okay, so that your application will not be disrupted. So suppose if you push everywhere and the patch has a problem, then you have problem everywhere. So that time you can have a canary upgrade. All right, so I think we understand what is the meaning of instance group and why you need that. And also auto healing, I already mentioned. Auto healing is a managed instance group maintains highly availability of your application by proactively keeping your instances available, which means the running state. Managed instance group automatically decrease the instance that is not running. If it is not running state, then it will recreate automatically. However, relying on the virtual machine state may not be sufficient. You may want to recreate instances when application freezes. Sometime your application freeze or crashes, or some not responding. That time also maybe your virtual machine is working fine, but application not running. That time also auto healer is going to recreate the virtual machine for you, and that may be because of the application. All right, so let me now show you. Now we have done the theory and whiteboarding, blackboard. Now I'm going to show you in the lab. All right, so here we go. So I'm in the Google Cloud Console, and now let me go to Compute Engine. All right, Compute Engine, and I don't have any. Okay, I have only one virtual machine running, and which is in stopped. So I don't have any instance template as well, nothing. And I'll go to the instance group. So remember, as I mentioned, there our instance group contains the virtual machines or running instances collective in a one entity, right? And they are identical virtual machines. So instance group, create instance group. So what we will do, we'll create a group with two virtual machines under that, and then we'll see. Okay, so we'll create a web server. So web server instance group. Okay, instance group. All right, description can mean anything. This is for web server. Okay, now instance template I have to choose, because the virtual machine will be created from the instance templates. Why instance template? So that all the virtual machine will be created from this one will be identical. Okay, so that's why you need to have I don't have any instance template, so I'll create a new template. I'll just give a name here, web server instance template. Okay, it can be anything. Okay, so I'm just choosing the general purpose, very minimum one, and let it be default, and I'll choose Debian, whatever it comes, Debian Linux. And then I need, because it is a web server, I need the firewall HTTP to be on. Okay, and one more thing I need, because it is a web server, I need to check using once the server is built, using the URL, I need to check whether the web server is running or not. So what I'll do, I'll install Apache and PHP, and I'll give it in a starter script. So as I mentioned while creation of the virtual machine, I shown you, right? Yeah, you can give a starter script under management. So under here you can mention your startup script. So I have written a starter script like, this one. Okay, and this is going to be okay. So I'll install Apache, PHP, and then I'll restart the Apache 2, and then this hi from host name, this is, I mean, it is going to write into the file index.html, which is stored in the var www and is under HTML folder in the server, which will be created. Okay, so whenever we will be accessing the server using the URL with the IP, public IP, you will be seeing the hi from the host name, it will get it. Okay, so now I'm going to save and continue. I'll keep everything as default. And okay, here you can have single zone and multiple zone, as I mentioned in my whiteboard, right? You can have zonal or regional. So if you have multiple zone, and you can choose your region, and the zone you can choose how many you want, and then you can have, I mean, target distribution type, how you want to distribute, even or balanced, or there are 4 types of out of 4. One is I mean, in preview mode, and right now I can, with the free account, I can just choose even. Even means the load is going to distribute evenly between the, I mean not load, the creation of the virtual machine. Like suppose I create 4 virtual machine, so it will go equally, one into this and another into that one, and to this and that. If I create 3, and then like this, okay, it will evenly, it will create. Okay, and similar way, the other, I mean, balanced is also, it is almost same as evenly, but it will check the availability of the zones and all. But we are not going to, I mean, incur more cost and all. We want to keep this things very simple. So I'll select single zone, and whatever default comes, Iowa Central, US Central. And now auto scaling. So in the auto scaling, you see that the mode, there are 3 options. One is on, one is scale out, and other is off. Off means you are not participating into auto scaling. So how many, there are 2 virtual machine or 3 virtual machine you initially decided, and that would be the final one, and you are not going to increase or decrease. On means it will add or remove the instances from the group. So it will add when the load is high, and it will remove when the load is, I mean, settle down. And scale out means only it will add to the group. Okay, the addition will be, if the load is high, the instance will be still, I mean, it will be adding on. Okay, but it will not delete anything. In the deletion part, you want to keep with yourself, like you want to delete it manually. Okay, so I'll go with the on one. Okay, add and remove. And minimum number of instances I'm giving here 2 instances. It should be created 2 virtual machine will create, and I'll give 4 as a maximum. And now CPU utilization as default, I'll keep it. I mean, it means that if the virtual machine average, as I mentioned in my blackboard, that if the average CPU utilization of both the instances are 60%, let me make it 75. Okay, then what will happen, then the instance will be extended from the 2, it will go 3, and then 4 is the maximum, so it will go till 4. All right, so okay, so this is the, okay, cooldown period is nothing, 60 seconds is nothing but I mean, cooldown is like whenever the instance is added, I mean, the from the 2, when it will go 3, so it will give 60-second cooldown time, and it will not allow the newly added one to participate into the auto scaling, I mean, this percentage calculation, because it depends on your application install in the virtual machine, right? So initially when the virtual machine initialize, it takes a lot of memory, and CPU, right? So that's why cooldown period is 60 seconds. And VM instance lifetime is keep the same instance configuration update. So yeah, I don't want to keep change here anything. Yeah, this is another very important thing, health check. Okay, so health check is something I'll show you right now how to you have to create. I don't have anyone, so I have to create a health check. I'll just give a web server health check. Okay, and description you leave it, and then TCP, and yeah, this is HTTP health check, or you can give HTTP health check, and TCP 80 port and everything, yeah, is default. I'll save it. So here I'll show before saving, I'll show you what. So check interval is 5 second. Every 5 seconds it is going to check. It will, the Google Cloud is going to check the not Google Cloud, instance group is going to check the virtual machine everywhere whether it is up and running. It will time out. So how long it will wait for 5 seconds, and then it will time out. And healthy threshold is 2 consecutive success. So once it is every 5 seconds it will ping, right? And if it finds 2 healthy, 2 times it is pingable, then it will be considered healthy. If 2 times it is finding failure, then it will be considered, the VM will be considered unhealthy. So I'm saving it. And next thing is, yeah, so advanced configuration. Yeah, this is a little advanced, but I'll tell you what, pageless and paginated is what. So the number of virtual machine will be, for single zonal it would be 1000. Okay, so I'm just writing it here. Zonal instance group, there will be 1000 virtual machines. Okay, if it is regional instance group, then it would be maximum. So it is maximum. Okay, maximum 1000 and maximum 2000 virtual machine. If you have a requirement, and where this is very it is not a case you'll get every time, very frequently, because 2000 is a lot, 1000 is a lot actually. So if you have a requirement more than 2000, that time you have these advanced options to choose from, like pageless and paginated. Okay, so if you have a recommended for bigger group size, so you create paginated. All right, so yeah, I'm not going anything from that. More advanced into that. And initial delay is 300 seconds, and which means it will wait for, when the virtual machine will be created, it will wait for 300 seconds, because it will run the script and all. So okay, I'm going to create it. All right, let's create. It will take some time because it will create two instances, and then it will create a health check and everything. So we'll wait for some time, and we'll come back after 5 minutes. All right, the instance group is successfully created. If you see, successfully created instance group, this. Okay, now you see this, the status is in green, and if you go inside that, and you see this name of the template, and then instance 2 it is showing here, and target CPU utilization is 75%. And if I go inside that, let me check. Yes, so I have two virtual machine here created, 2 instances. You see the web server, the name of the virtual machine is given like web server template group 5D. This is a random number it will give, and this is it taken from the instance group, and the instance group name and dash the random number. You see that? And yeah, here is a IP address assigned, and it's both are healthy status. And if I show you something, if I click on the IP, external IP, just click on that, you see that hi from web server instance group 5DFP this is. And if I click on here, it should go, it will show hi from this host name JT B9, JTB9. See, okay, if I refresh it, refresh, it would be showing same. Refresh, everything, because it is coming from the um, same server. All right, now I'll go to virtual machine instances, and you see that two virtual machine instance created here. And if I show you something, the script I have given here, right? So if I go inside the virtual machine, and in the logs, if I go to the cloud login, and you will be able to see the script has been run. I mean, the script I have given, right? The script I have given into the startup script. So this is running. So what I'll do, I'll just say here startup script. So if you see, startup is already there. If I go up, so I'll just say startup. You see that following package will be installed. Okay, and then yeah, you see that after operation this will be used. Yeah, 23 newly installed. Okay, so Apache and everything is installed successfully. So this is just to check the logs and all, right? So let me close it, and now what I'll do, so as I mentioned in my blackboard, that what are the advantages. One is load balancing, right? So let me show you how we can use this feature of load balancing using the instance group. Okay, so let me go to the console back, and if I go, I'll create a load balancer. This is little bit advanced for you if you are new to this, but I'll show you how to create a load balancer. So if just go to the click on hamburger button, and if to go very bottom in the networking section, in the networking section you will see networking services, and there is a thing called load balancing. So click on load balancing, and here I don't have anything created, so I'll just create load balancer, and I want to create HTTP load balancing. Okay, so I'll say start configuration, and I'll select from the internet to my virtual machine or serverless, right? So this is the one, and global HTTP load balancer, right? It's a global load. Google Cloud has a very good feature of global load balancer. Okay, so I'll just say continue, and here you have to configure the front end. Okay, so what is front end? Just say web server HTTP web server front end. Okay, just give a name, and HTTP definitely protocol, and everything else is same. Port is 8. Say done, and now go to backend. Okay, we have to give a name also, right? We have to give a name. So web service load balancer. Okay, given a name. Front end is done. Backend, I have to choose backend, create backend service. Okay, create a backend service, and here you just give web service backend. Okay, backend, and description leave it, and yeah, these are by default. Now in the backend, front end you have choose, right, already, and now backend is instance group you have to choose. So in the backend, what is your backend? Backend is instance group. So we have our instance group created, and port you can put 80. So what does it mean, backend and front end, right? So for load balancer, so if you have a load balancer, so your front end is nothing but your public IP. Okay, public IP, which is internet for your public IP URL you are accessing, and then you are accessing your backend. Your backend is nothing but your instance group, which implied what? Your VMs, VM1, VM2, all right, VM3. This is your backend. So port number is 80, and yeah, everything else you just keep it as same as, I mean, I don't want to use cloud CDN. Okay, now we have to okay, you have to say done here for the backend. And now we'll put a health check also. So health check, remember we created a health check already for the instance group. I'll just say health check, and I'll just say create. Okay, and see it is created, and I'll say okay. And now you have to review and finalize whatever you have selected for all the three, and just click on create button to create the load balancer. Okay, it will take some time, maybe till 5 minutes, or maybe 7 minutes, 8 minutes. Just hold on. Also after creation, also whenever you want to access the IP address, it may give you access deny, page cannot be displayed, but you have to wait for some time. It takes some time to configure everything. Okay, the load balancer is created. You see that? Now go inside that, and okay, the front end IP address is assigned. So if I copy and paste this IP address into my browser, let's see, enter. Yes, this page is not working, so don't worry, it takes some time to configure everything, and it will definitely give you the output. Site cannot be reached now. Okay, let's wait for some time, maybe 5 more minutes. However, individually from the both the server, my IP, from the IPs, this is working, right? See, from ending with 165 and ending with 41, it is working. However, the load balancer is still not working. We'll give some time. Here you go. Okay, it came back. So now you see that when you refresh your load balancer IP, you refresh it, you see that it is changing. It is changing, right? The call is going to the both the virtual machine. Okay, ending with 5D FP and JTB9. So if I go here, here, this is our instance group, and you see that 5DF5, 5DFP and JTB9, right? So our load balancer is working perfectly fine. Okay, so I've shown you what is the benefit of instance group and how it is working with the load balancer. Now I'll go back to instance group, and I'm going to show you something, that this both are healthy, right? So let me do one thing. So this healthy check is healthy check happens through HTTP, right? And it is through the the script I have written. So where it is, the script, right? HTML. So if my Apache itself is not working, if I stop Apache, and then let's see what happens. Okay, let me show you. So for example, the second one, if I do SSH, and if I go inside that virtual machine, and execute the command to stop Apache 2, let's see. All right, it's here right now. So sudo service Apache 2, let's see status first. Okay, active, running active. Now stop stopped. Now I'll do the status once again. Okay, so it is exited, it stopped, right? Okay, now as Apache stopped in this one, so let us monitor this. See that, oh, see that automatically it got unhealthy, and from 100% healthy it back to 50% healthy. Now you see the status here, it is red and is saying VM is being recreated. All right, so everything is matching whatever we learned, right? VM is recreating. So I mentioned you, right? It's HA, I said, right? If any server goes down or something happens to the application, the virtual machine will be recreated. All right. So the status is instance is stopped. So let us wait for some time and then see what happens to this virtual machine. So you see that. So one of our so the second one, right? Okay, so instance group, inside that. Now if I go to the global load balancer, it will give me from only one. It will not go to the second one. I mean, it will not go to this JTB9. Okay, it is not going. See that JTB9. But gradually, when it will be recreated, once the virtual machine is recreated, and then it will get the service back. Okay. And for see, I'm refreshing 1,000 times, million times, but it's still going only once the first server DF 5DF5. Okay, 5DF5. Okay, so let's see how much time it takes to recreate it. 2 instances, 50% healthy, and it will create within, I mean, when it's healthy, right, VM will be recreated within few minutes. So you understand, right? Like the one, when any server is getting down or maybe the application is not available, end users are still able to access the other servers in the instance group. Okay, the error server will be recreated as soon as the script has been run in the starter script and everything is ready. We'll see that along with this first server, the second server will be back to the instance group, and it is also part of the group. Okay, but we have to wait for some time. Also, you'll see that once it is created, I mean recreated, the virtual machine, you'll see under virtual machine instances, this virtual machine ending with JTB5 is getting created. You see that instance being stopped, so it is going to recreate. Also, if you go inside the instance group, you'll see the creation time will change. Okay, so the creation time for both is same, right? 12:27, 12:27, 58, 58. So both are same, but when this will be recreated after some time, this time will change, and that will tell you that something happened to the server and it was recreated. All right, so the virtual machine is recreated. However, whenever it is recreated, it will create with the same host name and all, but external IP is changed. You see that external IP, it was before one ending with the 165. So if I refresh, it will not give me anything. Okay, but now new address is, if I click on that, it is, see, JTB5 ending with. Okay, now I'll go back here. It was giving me this is my global load balancer. So if I refresh it, it was it was only giving me 5DFP, right? So if I refresh it, see that the second server is now participating into the load balancing. All right, so this proves that my load balancer worked perfectly and it is recreated. Also, I proved that the server will be recreated whenever anything happens to the server. So if I go to the whiteboard, so I have shown you the load balancer balancing. I've shown you the recreation of the highly availability thing. Auto healing also I have shown you, and Auto scaling I'll not be able to show you, like but what happens, in the future, what I'll do, I'll write a PHP file, and what I'll do, I'll bump up CPU, I mean by a stress test. Okay, stress test, and maybe the CPU will bump up for both, and then when it is more than your target, then I'll show you how it creates. It's very simple, but yeah, we are almost done with the practicals, and that's it. And I think you don't have any more doubt on instance group anymore. Let me go back to my PowerPoint slide. So we know now everything about instance group. Oh yeah, one more thing left. One is, I mean, everything we have shown right now, it is managed instance group. Another is unmanaged instance group. So what are unmanaged instance group? Let me show you real quick here. Unmanaged instance group. So the name itself is saying unmanaged. So suppose in the case of managed instance group, what you have, you create instance group and then you create the VMs, right? VM2, right? VM2, VM3, right? In the case of unmanaged, suppose you have your VMs already created and they are used for other purpose VM, right? And they're separately created and they're working independently. Now you decided, okay, what we'll do, we want to group them together in a instance group. Okay, instance group. So that, and then you manage manually. If any addition of the VM needed, you do adding manually. So everything you do manually. Okay, like manually create, update. Okay, everything you do manually. That's why it is called unmanaged instance group. All right, so that's what it's saying. This group allow you to manually manage the group instances, which means that you have to handle tasks such as instance creation, health checking, scaling, or everything you do manually. All right, with that said, I am done with this session of instance group, and this is super easy to understand, but this is very critical, right? And it, because your company may need instance group for your highly availability, your scalability, right? So it is very important to know what are instance group. So I think we have enough discussed about that. So if you have liked my video, please like this video or any other video you like, and don't forget to watch my earlier videos to keep track of all the, I mean every lecture of my is dependent on each other, right? So look into the older videos. If you have any doubt and question, please let me know in comment section. And yeah, like the video, and please share the channel with your friends and family who want to learn about these technologies, and subscribe to the channel, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video. Have a nice day. Bye bye.